Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that these videos are helping you on your journey. Today, I'm going to address something that many of you are probably familiar with, which are the Hermetic Principles. But I'm going to address their meaning, their origin, their relationship to Hermeticism, because there's a lot of things that people are not aware of when it comes to the Hermetic Principles, and it requires a lot of research. And when people go through a spiritual awakening, some of the first things they come across are the Hermetic Principles, which come from the book the Kybalion. And this book was published in 1908. It's a very recent book. Yet, a lot of people misunderstand the fact that Hermeticism is the Kybalion. It's the Hermetic Principles. It is and it is not at the same time. Just like many New Age spiritual books that are extremely popular, and sometimes they lure you into the wrong information or even the wrong history, similarly with the Emerald Tablets with S of Thoth. It's a book that's written by Maurice Doriol. And that book lures a lot of spiritual New Age people into believing that those are the Emerald Tablets. And the truth of the matter is that there is no such a thing. The author of that book came up with the 15 tablets, or the Emerald Tablets, as he proclaimed to have channeled from Tibet in an astral travel. But because he labels it as truth, a lot of people believe that. They read it and they believe it. My dear gifted souls, in this path, you have to always question everything you read, everything you watch, everything you hear, even the stuff I'm telling you, even the videos you watch on my channel. Question everything. Do your research. Just because someone wrote something in a book, I say this and I repeat it many times, it doesn't mean it's true. Just because someone wrote it in an ancient book, even, it doesn't mean it's true. There are many stupid people who wrote stupid things in ancient times. So just because the book was written in ancient times, it doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean what's written there is real. And just because something is popular doesn't mean it's real either. Humans are obsessed with these two things. If a book is ancient or if it's popular, then it means it's true. No. Like with the Emerald Tablets book by Maurice Doriol, I had that book. I read it many times in the beginning of my journey, and it confused me. It surely confused me. It's the book that says that talks about Thoth, the Atlantean, and that Thoth came from. It puts the whole focus on Thoth. Okay. And the fact that Thoth, the god of wisdom and knowledge, the guy with the beak, it puts the focus on the fact that he was the king of Atlantis, and not Poseidon, not Atlas, the son of Poseidon. No, it was him. He ruled Atlantis. He was the king of Atlantis. Where does that leave Poseidon? I don't know. And the fact that Thoth eventually, after the flood, built ancient Egypt. He built the pyramids, and that just Thoth did everything. And that Thoth wrote the 15 tablets, and Thoth he was the man. He was the one. He did everything. He did everything. From ancient Atlantis to ancient Egypt to everything. Thoth was the master. People are obsessed with this Thoth quite a lot. Even the Greeks made the equivalent for him, which is Hermes Trismegistus. Are you surprised that I'm saying this even though I'm an alchemist? Because for me, anything is up for interpretation. Anything. I don't worship anything. I'm just here to walk on my path. So similarly with the Kybalion, you have to be very careful. The Kybalion was published in 1908. The author is three initiates. That means it's anonymous. And this was quite prevalent in ancient times where a lot of books wouldn't have authors. They would be anonymous books written by anonymous authors. The reason why is because you want to share the knowledge for the sake of sharing the knowledge with humanity and helping people, not for the sake of recognition. And that's what I love about the Kybalion, because the author is not trying to show who they are. Even though it says three initiates, that means it's three people. And they came up, these three initiates, they came up with these 7 principles or 7 laws, which are called the 7 Hermetic Principles. Now, you probably have heard these in many videos on YouTube or social media or in spiritual discussions. They are extremely popular. But are you surprised to learn that it only came out in 1908? It's just barely over 100 years old, the text. Barely. These 3 initiates, no one know who they were, even though the publishing company, the guy who published the book, there has to be a name, is William Walker Atkinson. He's the publisher, William Walker Atkinson. And prior to the Kybalion, he's known to have published other books under pseudonyms. So he has other books that he has published under different names or pseudonyms. So he always tries to keep his identity hidden, even though he's the publisher of many books. And for the Kybalion, it says 3 initiates. So the theory that is believed most commonly between most people is that he wrote the book in collaboration with 2 other people, and that's why it says 3 initiates. But he is the publisher of the book. He's the one who published the book at first. So this is a common practice amongst occultists and even alchemists in ancient time, where people hide their names. I even do the same, because I'm self-alchemist. Portraying myself with a different name, because you don't want to reveal the name you were given at birth, because that name doesn't represent you and it's not who you are. When it comes to a practice, especially in the occult and magic, you have to associate yourself with a new name that represents that magic. You can't use your human name anymore. Alchemists, all of them did that. For example, Fulcanelli, that's not his real name. Basil Valentine, of course that's not his real name. Paracelsus, that's not his real name. Some alchemists, like Nicolas Flamel, use their real names, but most alchemists in history and occultists didn't use their real names. They always used pseudonyms or other names. And in ancient Egypt, the initiates, every time someone was initiated into a mystery school or into a temple, they would have to pick for themselves a new name, or the master picks a name for them. This practice still exists in Hinduism. When someone is initiated, the master picks a new name for the disciple. So it's a practice worldwide for initiative traditions, because it marks a new journey, a new phase of your life. You're entering a new phase where you're becoming a completely different person, a better person, a higher version of yourself. So you can't use your regular name. You can't use your older name. It doesn't make sense. Your older name carries older vibrations that don't represent you anymore. And if you use it, that name is going to drag you back to your old self. So that's why many practitioners, many witches, occultists, mages, and even authors use different names. So the Kybalion addresses 7 principles or 7 laws, and they call them Hermetic, as if it's connected to Hermeticism, but I'm coming to that. So these laws are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. There's 7. And 7 is a mystical number. 7 is the number of alchemy, is the number of the 7 planets, the 7 metals, the 7 days. And here we have again 7 principles, which makes it mystical as well. But regardless of the source of this book, and if it's connected to Hermeticism or not, and it is connected a little bit, but these principles are very interesting and you can learn from them. So even though it's a recent book, even though the author is unknown, but still you can learn from it. Because when you read about these principles, they make a lot of sense. I read this book countless times. I used to have like 3 or 4 variations of the book, physical books, the physical versions. I had 3 or 4 different editions. I read it countless times, more than I can count. And I'm very familiar with the 7 Hermetic Principles. I was obsessed with them in the beginning of my journey, and I used to think they were Hermeticism until I realized they're not. They're barely connected to Hermeticism. But you can learn a lot from them, and that's why I'm making a video about them. Even though they're not connected to Hermeticism, but maybe the author or these 3 initiates, they were inspired by the Hermetic work in order to make this book. That's wonderful. So we have mentalism, which states that the all is mind. Everything comes from the mind. Everything in creation starts with an intention in your mind. And that intention, good or bad, can manifest. So your reality reflects your thoughts, your intention. The thoughts, if you focus on them, they will become your reality. So you have to be careful about what's going on in your mind. What are you focusing on? Your intentions. Mental energy can create your reality. Now, here's where it's so interesting. This is one of 2 principles that are shared with Hermeticism. Out of the 7 principles, there are 2 who are mentioned in the Hermetic tradition, and mentalism, that everything comes from the mind, is one of them. So this is pure Hermetic knowledge, that the all is mind, that your mind creates everything. And this goes even for rituals, spells, magical practices. When you focus your energy, your mental energy, when it's healthy, when it's 100% working properly with extreme focus, then you can start manifesting from thin air, because that's how magic works. When you do your visualizations, what are you seeing? What are you visualizing? Because those visualizations can become reality. So the mind is very important. It's the source of creation. It's the source of the creation of your own reality. Your reality overlaps with everyone else's reality, even with the reality of the insect in your home. Everyone's realities are overlapping, but it's still coming from your mind. Everything comes from your mind. There are other elements in play. There's karmic retribution, other universal laws that you can't breach, but the core thing to remember is that everything starts from your mind and your intention, because even the Buddha himself said that. So I love the principle of mentalism because it's 100% true. The second one is correspondence. As above, so below, as below, so above. And this is taken from the emerald tablet of Hermes Trismegistus. Just one tablet, not like the book I have mentioned in the beginning of this video, which was written by Maurice Doriol in the 30s, in the 1930s. No. This is the emerald tablet, the one page That's the foundation of alchemy, the foundation of Hermeticism as well. And these three initiates who wrote the Kybalion, that's where they got the phrase from. Because this is another misconception. And again, I hope that these videos help you clarify the amount of nonsense and misconception that's happening in this field. A lot of people think this phrase, as above, so below, comes from the Kybalion. The phrase, as above, so below, comes from the Emerald Tablets. And it's not the Emerald Tablets written by Maurice Doriol. No, it's from the Emerald Tablet attributed to Hermes Trismegistus that appeared around 1,000 years ago. Okay? It's one page, and it's the foundation of alchemy and Hermeticism. And it's that one page, and it has been translated by famous occultists like Helena Blavatsky. Fulcanelli did his own translation. Even Isaac Newton did his own translation of the Emerald Tablet. Okay? You can do your own translation too if you want to. But there are many translations you can find online because they're derived from books. You can buy the books of the translations of the Emerald Tablet. One tablet. Don't confuse it with the book of Maurice Doriol. Don't, please. One tablet, one page. All the occultists, the famous occultists that have existed, that contributed to the world of the occult, did their translations. And it's from that one page that comes as above, so below. It's not from the Kybalion. Do you understand? The Kybalion took it from the Emerald Tablet. So, again, this is the second Hermetic principle that's actually Hermetic, because it comes from the Emerald Tablet, which is the foundation of Hermeticism. That's why when you delve into alchemy and Hermeticism, it is so complicated and it's so easy to get off rail, because of the amount of books and sources and people that claim to know the origin of things, and it becomes a chaotic ocean of information, and you have to decipher all of that on your own. But it comes with years and years of research. And then you realize, oh, I know what's legit from what's not legit. And that's why the people who are just starting this journey, they fall for this all the time. And they think, oh, as above, so below. Yeah, the Kybalion, I know that. It's the phrase that the book, the Kybalion, wrote. But it's okay. On the positive side, this book, because of its popularity, is making a lot of souls aware of this phrase, because this phrase is very important. As above, so below. As below, so above. What does that mean? That means that everything in existence that is in the macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm. You want to know how the world works, how the universe works? Look around you, and you will understand how the world works. You want to know how things work in the spirit realm, for example? Just observe around you. Go observe nature. Look at an ant, what it's doing. Look at a bee. Observe a bee. Observe nature. Observe the animals. Observe how the world is working around you. And you will understand how everything in creation works. So that means if you want to understand existence, look within you, inside of you, because I always say you have to find the peace within. You have to look within, because within is where you're going to find out the answers of everything, of existence. If you look within you, you'll understand the reason why everything was created. It's not an easy concept to wrap your head around, but with time, with practice, you'll get to understand as above, so below, as below, so above. And it also represents the above and the below. That means literally and physically speaking, there is an above and there is a below. From a dimension perspective, there are dimensions of existence above you, and there are dimensions of existence below you. Religions call them heaven and hell, the underworld. The sigil that represents as above, so below is the hexagram. The triangle pointing upwards is the above, and the triangle pointing downwards is the below. When you merge them together, they become the hexagram, and they become the phrase as above, so below. And surprisingly, that's also one of the sigils of the Philosopher's Stone. Because when you combine all of the 4 sigils of the 4 elements, which are all triangles, when you combine them together, you get the hexagram. So the Philosopher's Stone, or your highest state, is the above and the below merged together in balance and harmony. It means you encompass everything in existence, the above, the below, in perfect balance, and everything is within you. It's a beautiful principle, and there's so much you can learn from it. And it also belongs to Hermeticism and to the emerald tablet of Hermes Trismegistus. You know that it's called Hermeticism because it comes from Hermes Trismegistus. You know that, right? The third principle is vibration. And it states that everything is moving, nothing is at rest. Everything vibrates. And this principle is probably the one that is very connected to quantum physics and to science, because science has proven that all the atoms, the reason why we see the physical reality the way it is because the atoms are vibrating at such a high speed. And because of those vibrations, they're stuck together. And when the atoms are stuck together, they form the physical reality that we're able to see. So if we were to remove those vibrations from the atoms that form the reality we see, if we were to remove those vibrations from them, everything's going to collapse. It's going to become nothingness everywhere. That's it, nothing. So everything that's holding the physical reality together, it's the vibration. So even though everything around you seems still and not moving, it's actually vibrating, but you can perceive it with your 2 eyes. So everything is vibrating all the time, including your own vibrations. And are your vibrations high or low? What frequency are they vibrating on? Higher frequencies, lower frequencies? And this applies to magic, to energy, rituals, spells, healing energy. By attuning our own vibration, we can align or shift dimensions and realities because everything has a frequency. And if you match your own frequency to the frequency that's there, maybe it's unseen, but it's there. But if you match your frequency to the unseen, you're going to start seeing the unseen. It's like radio frequencies. They're in the air, but when you tune in the radio, I don't know if anyone uses radios anymore. When you tune in the radio to a certain frequency, you get a different channel. Those channels are dimensions. You get a different dimension depending on the frequency. So understand that the more you raise your vibrations to higher frequencies, the more you can become attuned to the spirit realm and see what cannot be seen. Tap into the realm that's there. It's overlapping with you, but you can't see it. So the principle of vibration is quite interesting. The next one is polarity, meaning that everything is dual. Everything has 2 poles, 2 extremes, 2 opposites, love and hate, light and dark, hot and cold, high and low. They're the same thing on the spectrum, They're the same thing, but they're just on different ends of the spectrum. The emotion of love and hate is the same, but on the spectrum, it's on different sides. You have love here and you have hate here. They can move on the spectrum, but it's the same emotion. The same for hot and cold. It's the same emotion, but it's the degree of the emotion that's different. When it's very high, it becomes hot. When it's very low, it becomes cold. So our world, our physical world, this physical existence relies on this principle of polarity, and you need to become aware of it. Physical existence is as such. It has always two different opposites, two poles. And that's why, unfortunately, there's never peace without war. Unfortunately. And that's why I say it in many of my readings, in my videos, about the fact that many people are brainwashed into changing the world. There's no world you're going to change. The world has its own rules, and it runs by them. And one of these rules is polarity. And polarity means there's always an opposite of the one side you want. An emotion, a feeling, a state, a situation, a point of view, there's always going to be an opposite to that. If you have a lot of people that love you so much, you're going to have people that hate you as well. It's just how this world exists. It's how reality functions. And you have to be in peace with it. Like the ancient sages, they realized this, and the only way out of this madness is to be in peace with it. Recognize it, acknowledge it, and be in peace with the fact that there's always a duality to this world, no matter how hard you try. But at least this can help you transmute your energies. If it's negative, then you can become aware of the polarity of things and transmute the negative into the positive. So being aware of these principles can help you on your journey. The next principle is rhythm, the principle of rhythm. It states that everything flows out and in. After every high, there's a low, and after every low, there's a high. And that's how reality works. It's a wave, and the wave is not straight. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. And you have to become aware of this, and you can't be just riding the waves all the time, because if you ride to the highest point of the wave, you're going to crash very hard. And when you crash very hard, it's going to be hard for you to ride the wave again. That's why the master alchemists and hermeticists and the sages, they know that the best way to tackle this is to stay in the middle. And I have taught this before to you guys. Stay in the middle no matter what happens in your life. Amazing things come to you, stay in the middle. Be grateful. Don't over-celebrate. Be in the middle. Something catastrophic comes to you, be in the middle. Don't get depressed. Don't just be on the wave all the time, because that's going to take a toll on you. Sometimes you're extremely happy, so happy, and then the next moment you're so depressed. That's going to take a toll on you. That's not healthy. And that's how most humans are. They're either extremely happy or extremely depressed. You can't just always follow the wave, because sometimes the wave will get very, very high and then it'll crash super, super low. And you don't want to feel that crash. So you want to be in the middle all the time. But this principle helps you understand that there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. That there's going to be beautiful times and then sad times. That you're going to have a month where everything is amazing, and then the next month, it's not going to be as amazing. And you start becoming proficient at even feeling when that's going to happen. For example, when you have something amazing come into your life, know that shortly after that, something not very amazing is going to come. This embodies the principle of rhythm and polarity at the same time. Because after every high, there's a low, and then there's always two poles, two sides of the same thing. So don't over celebrate when you get something amazing in your life. Never over celebrate. Be thankful, be grateful, even give offerings, do a ritual, and thank the universe for the amazing blessings that came to you, but it stops there. Because if something bad comes after that, if something that's not as good, it's not going to affect you. You're going to stay in peace within you. Nothing affects you. You are always peaceful inside. Okay? The next principle is cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Every cause has an effect. This principle can be replaced with the word, you guessed it, karma. This is basically karma. The sixth principle is what the Eastern traditions label as karma, and especially in Buddhism. Every cause has an effect. Every step, every intention, everything you do in your life will result in something. So, what is it that you're going to do? What are you choosing to do? What are your actions? Are they good or are they bad? Because a result will come out of that. There's always going to be consequences for your choices. Always. Good or bad. This principle also teaches us that nothing happens by chance. There's no randomness. Everything happens for a reason. Everything you're living right now in this second as you're watching this video is because of an action you did in the past. It's a result. No randomness in the world. No randomness, no chance. It's just cause and effect, consequence. That's it. But in Buddhism, the Buddha stressed out that it starts even with intention. And I want to remind you of this, my dear friends, because most people think that intentions are harmless. No. Intentions, they can manifest because it's all part of the energy of your mind. As I said it earlier in mentalism, the principle of mentalism. Your intention carries an energy that can become manifested. Maybe if you intend something bad onto someone, you just intend it. You're like, well, I didn't harm that person physically. I just intended it. Well, what do you think curses are? The curses that people do, what do you think they are? They're intentions. You're intending to harm someone. And these curses work for many people because it's energy carried out from your mind towards someone. And these hexes work. It's all intention. So intention has energy attached to it, and that energy manifests. As you can see here, the beauty of these principles is that they speak to each other. The principle of cause and effect is connected to the principle of mentalism because everything starts with an intention. If you take action on your intention, that can be even worse because you're solidifying it, you're concretizing it into reality. So might as well do something good, something that's beautiful, loving, caring, kind, helpful, because you can help other people, you can accumulate good karma, and you will feel good too. And you will be in peace. So be mindful of the principle of cause and effect. It's very important. So that's the sixth principle, and the seventh and last principle, is gender. And the principle of gender states that gender is in everything. Everything has a gender, and it exists in its masculine and feminine state. So there's masculine and feminine in everything in existence. Even within you, even within the same body, there is the feminine divine and the masculine divine. But the physical manifestation is male and female. That's the physical manifestation. But within each thing, there is the divine feminine aspect and the divine masculine aspect. And they always have to be in balance. Because when they're not balanced out, that's when chaos starts to happen. For example, the world, as how we live in it, is ruled by the masculine energy. It's men who use their masculine divine to one extreme, too much, ignoring their divine feminine. It's because of that that we have wars and killings and clashes and arguments and fights around the world, and people only care about themselves. They don't care about helping each other. It's all masculine energy, but out of balance. Too much masculine energy. It becomes toxic masculine energy. And that's why the world is in shambles. Because the divine feminine is not properly balanced with the divine masculine. It's still, if you look around, the world is run by men, no matter how you try to look at it. No matter how much progressive the world has become, the world is still run by men. All around the world, in any country you go to. You might give some exceptions or one example. Oh, that country has a woman president. Or, oh, in that city, this place is ruled by a woman. But compare that to the ratio of the rest of the world. The world is run by men. And that's why the world is the way it is now. Remember, balance is the key to solving this madness. Balance. You know what I mean by that is that if it was the other way around, if women were running the world, then it's going to be out of balance too, because it's going to be just the divine feminine running the world. Right now, it's the divine masculine. The opposite case scenario would be the divine feminine, but the true mastery comes when they run it together in balance. 50-50. Yin, yang. They complement each other in perfect peace and harmony. In perfect peace and harmony. Not just one ruling over the other. And usually the most magic, the most beautiful things you can witness is when the divine masculine and divine feminine are merged in perfect balance. That's where you witness the beauty of existence. It's the same as giving birth to babies, to kids, or even when the animals, any kind of babies, baby humans, baby animals, baby anything, baby birds, aren't they just the most beautiful things? Any baby you see, they're pure, they're beautiful, they're just the most beautiful thing you can witness. How it happened in the perfect merging of masculine and feminine. I'm not talking about sexuality. Don't get it wrong. Sex is out of the question here. We're talking about merging in peace and harmony in order to give creation to the most beautiful thing, which is a baby. So these 7 Hermetic principles, they are beautiful, they are useful. You can use them in your practices, in alchemy, in your rituals. They can help you on your journey because they help remind you of the laws that make up our reality. And these 3 initiates, they probably were initiates because they picked 7 principles that encompass everything in creation. So should you read the Kybalion and the Hermetic Principles? Yes, absolutely. It's an amazing book. The Kybalion is an amazing book. It helped me in the beginning of my journey. It did not confuse me. It actually helped me understand how the world works. But only 2 of the principles are connected to Hermeticism. That's where I want to clear out the confusion. The mentalism and correspondence, as above, so below. Those are the 2 principles that are connected to the Hermetic tradition. So what's the difference? The difference is that the Kybalion is a book, as I have mentioned, it's written in 1908 by 3 initiates, but Hermeticism is based on a series of writings, what is called the Corpus Hermeticum or Hermetica. These are a series of texts and manuscripts and dialogues attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. They were written and collected and combined in the era of 100 BC to 400 CE. So for around 500 years, these dialogues and texts, and it's like an emulsion of different sources that were gathered by the ancient Greeks, and they were put into this one encyclopedia, if you will, and it's called the Corpus Hermeticum. It's an ancient text. So it was written about 2,000 years ago. So it's a huge difference. And the Corpus Hermeticum or the Hermetica can be confusing because when you start reading it, it's a mixture of many texts. But the texts have a lot of wisdom in them, but it can get confusing. So you can check them out on your own. And that's the difference between the Kybalion that states the 7 Hermetic principles and the Corpus Hermeticum, which is the foundation of Hermeticism. And the Corpus Hermeticum, the knowledge in there and the texts in there is also based on the Emerald Tablet. Because the Emerald Tablet was written by Hermes Trismegistus, and the Corpus Hermeticum is a mixture of texts and dialogues attributed to Hermes Trismegistus as well. And both of these things, they date back to ancient times, to thousands of years ago. So that's the difference. The Kybalion is recent, just over 100 years old. But it says Hermetic principles, then that's what confuses people. But it's not part of the Hermetic tradition. It is definitely inspired by the Hermetic tradition. It's inspired by it. That's the difference. But can you learn from it? Definitely. I highly recommend it. It's a great book. I myself used to own many copies. And another thing about the Kybalion is that it was published in the United States. So it's an American book. Whereas the Corpus Hermeticum, that's from ancient Greece. And the Corpus Hermeticum is way mystical when you read it. When you read some of the text, some of the dialogues, that's why it can be confusing. The Kybalion is straightforward. It gives you like point formats, whereas the Corpus Hermeticum is a philosophy. It's very theological. So I actually shared some of the texts from the Hermetica in some of my videos a few years ago. Check it out. It's very interesting, very, very interesting. So I hope this video helps, especially clear the confusion between Hermeticism and the 7 Hermetic principles, the Kybalion and the Corpus Hermeticum, and their origin, and why some people think that the 7 Hermetic principles are connected to Hermeticism, but they're actually not. I hope this helped you, and I hope this helped you understand the 7 Hermetic principles from the Kybalion as well. Hopefully this helps. Let me know in the comment section, and let me know, I'm sure many of you have read the Kybalion. Let me know how it helped you. Let me know if you thought that was Hermeticism, and let me know if you ever checked the Corpus Hermeticum. Let's discuss that in the comment section. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.